Hi everyone, thank you for stopping by. You're welcome to my channel. So in this video we'll be learning how to make this beautiful trending gown. As you can see, the inspiration is the picture in the middle, and both pictures and video at the right and the left side is the outcome of this tutorial, as you can see on me. So if this is what you're hoping to learn, please stay tuned to the end. We'll be learning how to cut and how to sew it completely in this video. So let's get right to it. So I'll be making use of these 2 yards of Ankara fabric, and I also have this tulle or plain netting 10 yards. So you need about 8, 9 or 10 yards if you want the tulle to be very full. And I also have this crepe to serve as lining for the net. So let's draft out the front pattern. We'll be using it to cut out the front and back on our fabric. So now I'm marking my bust point, which is 10 inches, then my under bust point, which is 14 inches, and then my waist length, which is 16.5. So from that point I came down by 9 inches for my hip point. So I'm going to extend all the lines with my ruler like so. So this is our hip line. So let's just label it like so. This is the hip line, this is the waist, this is the under bust, and this is the bust point. So from that hip line we're going to come down by about 6 inches like so. So this will stop after the hips. So this is not the full length of the gown, but let's just keep going and keep watching to the end so you understand. So I labeled that line after the hip X. So on the shoulder line I marked my shoulder measurements divided by 2, as you can see. So from that point I came down by 1 inch. From that 1 inch point I marked my armhole depth. So instead of using my normal armhole depth, which is 8, I decided to use 7 because I didn't want my armhole area to be too open. So I extended the line, which is the chest line. So we're going to label it as the chest line. So I'm going to extend the armhole depth line like so, and then on the shoulder it came in by 3 inches for the neck area, and I extended the shoulder slope like so. So I'm going to measure what we have at the armhole depth, which is 7. So I marked the midpoint. So on that point I went in by half an inch. So on the chest line I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4, as you can see. So I'm going to use my French curve to draw the armhole curve like so. So now I'm going to mark my bust span measurement, my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So I marked it on my bust point, my under bust point, my waist point, and then on my hip line like so. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect all the points to form a straight line. So on the waistline I came down by about 4.5 inches. So on that waistline I went in by half inch and also out by half inch. So now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point like so. From that 4.5 inch I came down by to the half inch I went in and out by on the waist, and also from that waist to the bust point. So this is our dart intake. So we've marked my bust measurement on the chest line before, so I'll just add 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So on the under bust point line I marked my under bust measurement divided by 4, and I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So on my waistline I marked my waist measurement divided by 4, and I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance also, and then I added 1 inch for my dart intake. So on the hip line I marked my hip measurement divided by 4. I added half inch for ease, and I went ahead to add 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So let's extend the line. So this part marked X. So I also marked my hip measurement divided by 4. So instead of adding half inch I added 1 inch for more ease, because it is very free below the hip area. So I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So now I'm going to connect all the points together to form my body shape. So I'm going to be doing that with my ruler now and my curve. So just pay close attention to what I'm doing. It is very easy. So for the neck depth, I came down by 3 inches on the neck area, and then I used my French curve to draw my neckline. So it is just a round neck, a high round neck. So that's all, and I'll be cutting it out now. So I'm going to cut out the waist area. I'm going to cut from the waist area to separate the skirt part from the upper part. So now we're going to work on this skirt part. We're going to form those curves. So on that line marked X, I also marked my bust band measurement. That's my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So I extended the line like so. So from the folded part, I marked 1 inch like so, and from the hip line I came down by 1 inch also. So I'll measure what we have there and I'll mark it here like so. So I'm going to use my French curve to draw the curve like so. My explanation might not be doing justice, but please just pay close attention to how I am drawing it. So now from that point I marked 1 inch also, and from the hip line I also came down again by 1 inch, and then I'm going to use my French curve to draw the curve. So this second curve is a half curve, so it will be curving to the side like so. So now I'm going to cut out these curves as you can see me doing. So that is all for the drafting of our front pattern. So we'll be using this pattern to cut out the back and the front. So I've gone ahead to cut it out on my fabric. So this is the back. I added half an inch round those curves and 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. I also added half inch at the hem of the upper part and also at the shoulder area, and also 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. The back neckline is not as deep as the front neckline. So now we're going to mark about 0.75 inch on the waist area for both the skirt part and the upper part of our dress. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that part out now into the bust area like so. I'm just going to slant it like so. I'm also going to do the same for the skirt part. I'm going to cut it into the hip area like so. I'm going to slant it. So if you've been watching my videos, we do this a lot to avoid bulginess at the zipper area. So that is why we do what I did. So I've also used my pattern paper to cut out my front part on my fabric. I also added half an inch round the curve, and for the upper part I also added half an inch at the hem of the upper part and at the shoulder. I've also gone ahead to cut out my lining for all the pieces, both the front and the back, both the upper part and the skirt part. So I made use of the normal lining, just the normal lining. So because our dress is armless and we don't want the shoulder area to be bulgy somehow, so we're going to trim out from the shoulder area like so. So you can just trim out about 1 inch or 0.75 inches like so into the armhole area. As you can see me doing, just make sure you cut it out neatly like so. So now I'm going to open up the front upper part like so. I'm going to open it and place my lining on the right side. So I'm going to stitch the neck area, the armhole area, both armhole, because our dress is armless. So I'm going to be stitching the armhole, and also I'll stitch both sides. And after turning it to the right side, I'm going to go ahead and sew my dart intake. So also for the back pattern, for the back piece, I'm also going to open up the right side like so. I'm going to place my lining on the right side like so, and then I'm going to stitch the neck area, the armhole area, and both sides, and also sew my dart intake after turning it to the right side. And I'll do the same for the second part. So this is how it is looking after stitching my lining. I've also gone ahead to sew my dart intake. I've also done the same thing for the back. I've stitched my lining and sew my dart intake. So now to the skirt part, I'm going to open up the front part. So I'm removing the pins I used to hold it in place. So I'm going to open it up like so, and then I placed my lining on the right side. So I'm going to start sewing from the side. Then I'm also going to sew into all the curves. I'm going to sew all the curves as you see me demonstrating, and also to the other side. After turning into the right side, I'm going to sew my dart intake also. So for the back part, I'm also going to sew it just like I did for the front. So this is how it is looking after stitching my lining. As you can see, I've also sewn my dart intake, and also this is the back part after sewing my lining. I've also sewn my dart intake. So now we're going to place the front upper and lower part together like this on the waist area. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the waist area. I'm also going to join the upper and the lower pieces of my back pattern. As you can see, I'm going to place the upper and lower pieces together like so, right side facing right side like this, and then I'm going to run a stitch through the waist area to join it. I'm also going to repeat the same thing for the second part of the back piece. So I'm going to head over to the machine now to do that. So this is our pieces after joining together. As you can see, this is the front. It has been joined together at the waist area, and this is also the back pattern. It has been joined together also at the waist area, as you can see very neatly. So now we're going to close the back. From the waist area, I came down by 7 inches. So I'm going to mark that 7 inches with my chalk. So from that point, I'm going to stitch it all the way down to join the lower part. So the remaining upper part, I'm going to stitch my zip. So this is how my back part is looking like after stitching the zip. So now I'm going to take the front pattern. I'm going to place it together like so. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch my shoulder area. I'm going to join the shoulder area for both shoulders. So after joining the shoulder, I went ahead to go and join my sides. I'm going to stitch down both sides. So I'm going to use my allowance to join both sides. So this is what our dress is looking like after joining the sides. As you can see, it is already forming the style already. So now we're going to start pleating the plain net or the tulle. So now we're going to pick the net like so and then fold it into two, as you can see me doing. So I folded it into two like so. I hope you all are seeing it clearly how I folded it. So this part is going to be pleated and this folded part is going to be the hem. So we're going to pleat that double part like so. So we're going to start from the back, from the zipper area like so. So we're going to pleat it as you see me doing. I'm going to pleat it and follow those curves. So I'm going to head over to the machine now and show you how we're going to pleat it. So let's go. So as you can see, I started from the zipper area from the back. So I've started pleating it around the curve like so. So now I'm going to continue pleating it. So pay close attention to how I'm pleating it. I hope we all can see how I'm sewing it. So be mindful of that end because that's where it's going. We're going to curve it into another curve. I hope we all are seeing it. Just pay close attention to how I'm doing it. So now I'm getting closer to the end. So you're going to watch closely how I'm going to sew, how I'm going to pleat the end area, because we don't want the line or the joining or anything, any joining at all to show at the back. So as you can see, I'm pleating it into where we started from. So instead of me to just stop at that middle, I'll continue pleating it again as if I'm going for a second round. Are you seeing it clearly? So as if I'm going for a second round, I'll continue pleating it inside again. So I'm just going to do that for about 6 more inches again. So I'll continue pleating it like that. So at the end, you won't see any joining. So this is what our dress is looking like after completing the pleat. As you can see, our style is coming out well already. it is forming what we want already. So you can see the neatness. So I've also gone ahead to trim out the hem to the length where I want my gown to stop. And as you can see, this back area that I was explaining earlier on the machine, you can't see the beginning, you can't see the end, because I sewed it into each other, as you can see. So as you can also see the inside is also looking all neat. So now we're going to line it using our crepe, because we don't want the tulle area to be showing our laps and our legs. So I'm going to attach the crepe on the waist area, on the waist allowance area where we joined the upper and the lower part together. So I'm going to go ahead and pleat it like so, scantily, so when we bring it down it's going to be neat. So this is how we're going to be sewing it. So just pay close attention to how I'm going to be pleating it. So the pleat is going to be scanty because the crepe is just 2 yards long, and it's not necessary for it to be too full like that, since it is just a lining. So when we get to this joining at the side, we're going to skip that place, as you see me doing. As you can see, I skipped that place and then I continued. So do not let that joining at the sides bother you. You can skip it and continue pleating at the other side. So we're going to continue pleating till the other end of the zip, like so. So this is how it is looking after joining or after pleating the lining, which is the crepe. So I bring it down like so. You can see it is very neat. The joining area is covered already after bringing it down. So I'm going to leave open the zipper area like so. So I'm going to join the crepe after the zipper area like so. I'm going to stitch it all the way down, and after that I'm going to fold that zipper area part in to make it look neat. So this is how it is looking after joining the crepe and stitching on or folding the zipper area side. So it is easy to open your zip, as you can see. Please guys, do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, and also give this video a thumbs up. And you can also turn on your post notification bell so you won't miss out if I drop any new tutorial. So guys, thank you so much for watching till the end, and see you guys in my next tutorial.